Welcome to the second video for day one of Tinkercad skills. Today you're going to learn three things: how to resize an object by changing its length, width, and height, how to rotate the object along three different axes, and how to use that magic button on the iPad app. So jumping into Tinkercad, when you go to resize an object, you'll notice that there are these sort of white squares. You can click on them with your finger and sort of drag them around to resize as you wish. The four corners will adjust length and width. The white square in the middle will allow you to edit the heights. All right. So you can sort of click and drag, move around as needed. You can see the numbers changing. Oftentimes, a better way of doing this, though, if you know what the measurement should be, is just click on a corner square. Then you can click on these numbers and type exactly what you want them to be. Say I want 30 millimeters by 50 millimeters. Maybe I want my height to be 20 millimeters. You can just type the numbers. It's often a much quicker way of resizing your object, but you are also allowed, if you want to do this. What you should not do, if you go to this little menu, here you can adjust the length, width, and height. Do not adjust these sliders. They're not accurate at all. I mean, notice right now it's 32 millimeters by 48. These numbers are wrong. All right, so it's not an accurate way of doing it. I don't know why they're there. Just use the sort of the white squares to do that. All right, next, rotations. So you might need to move your work plane around a bit, but there's three sort of curved arrows. And when you click on them, you see these sort of little circles appear that allow you to rotate. So this one here allows you to rotate it this way. We can also click this arrow and rotate on this axis. And we also have this arrow over here, which allows you to sort of rotate on this plane as well. All right, so it does take some practice getting used to. I do want to point out that, zoom out a little bit, if you sort of keep your finger real close, it's going to do it every 22.5 degrees. But if you go away, you can sort of rotate it as individual degrees. So if you want really precise measurements, kind of press further out. All right, otherwise, if you go closer, every 22.5 degrees will snap into place. So that's rotations. Next up, we have the magic button. It does three things. So over here on your iPad, you can't see it on my screen, but there's a button. If you press that button, it's similar to holding on the shift key on a computer. So the first thing that it does, if you want to make one of your objects smaller or bigger, without pressing that button, you can sort of do this. All right, you can sort of kind of mess it up. If you hold down that button, though, it now sort of keeps that same aspect ratio. So the length and the width will keep sort of the same. So this is with the button pressed down, and this is with the button not pressed down. So you can sort of really it keeps that same aspect ratio as it gets smaller and bigger. The other thing it does is that when you rotate, again, you can do individual degrees. If you hold down that little button while you do this, it locks it into 45-degree increments, which can be useful because oftentimes you only want to rotate like 45 or 90 degrees. And the other thing that it does do is if you want to try and move your object, normally you can kind of move it all over the work plane. But as soon as you press down that magic button, it kind of locks it into place in a way where it can only go perfectly up and down or left and right. All right, so it kind of keeps it on that, that axis. So this is with the button, it kind of locks it into a plane. And then without the button, you can sort of move more freely. All right, so think about, the three ways you can use that button, either to move it like this, to sort of resize to keep the same aspect ratio like this, or to rotate it in 45-degree intervals. All right, that is all for today. Thank you.